What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon. MLB DFS video. It is Saturday. It is June 15th. We are back. If you've never been here before, we do things a little bit differently here. We go through every single game on the day. We look at the pitching. We look at the bats. We look at the weather. We look at simulations. We look at it all. So if you've never been here before, stick around, hit the subscribe button, and towards the end of the video, we're going to give you the top 20 bats after 10,000 simulations. We're also having giveaways every single video. Here's how to win the giveaways. There's 2 giveaways, and you can win both of them every single day. Like the video, be a subscriber, and leave a comment. If this video gets at least 50 likes and you've done all of those, you have a chance to win a free week of FTA Plus. That's a $10 value. That includes a week of MLB, a week of MMA, NASCAR, PGA, obviously NBA and NFL once full swing are all back together. If the video gets at least 100 likes, you have a chance to win a free month, which is a $30 value. If the video gets 150 likes, a free $200 year. And if this video or any of our videos ever get 200 or more likes, you have a chance to win a $500 lifetime pass. The second way to win, there will be I'll say a keyword somewhere in this video. Listen for the keyword, comment that keyword down below, and you have a chance to win a free week of FTA Plus. So you have a chance on both of them to win twice a day. We've never had the same person win. So what we're going to do is we're going to choose the winner from yesterday's video just because the video got at least 50 likes. Yesterday's video got 76. So this will be a random. We'll randomize it, and it'll be a winner there. And then we'll re-roll it for the keyword. So even if this first one has the keyword, we'll still re-roll it for the second one or the keyword giveaway. So what we do is we just put the video link there, answer this super hard question, get the comments. Oh, let me refresh. Let's try it again. Okay, so we're going to re-roll it. This is 46 comments in here. Good luck to everybody. And let's see who the winner is. Michael Swick. So Michael's won multiple times, and you guys can win multiple times too. All you got to do is be a subscriber and come back. So Michael, congratulations. Let me know that you saw this. You've got a free week. Now we're going to re-roll it, and we'll look for the word iguana. And we've never had the same person win back-to-back on the same day. It would be awesome to see that. But let's see. Extract Sniper, congratulations. I want an iguana. Congratulations, both of you. Just email me, let me know you guys saw this, and we will get you those free weeks on the website. And it's that easy. Super easy, super simple. You could win. Never had the same person win multiple times, but you can. Also, people have been asking me, FTA Plus, what does it include? It includes every single sport, every single thing we have on these tabs. If you've got questions, let me know down below, or email me, or go check out the website. We have a Discord down below as well. A lot of great information comes in that Discord. We go over a ton of things. We go over ballpark factors. We go over projected home run totals. We go over weather. We go over core plays. We do back and forth with prop bets. So get in there if you have not. And what's awesome is I mentioned this in yesterday's video, but we have 2 giveaways, very limited amount of coupon codes if you've been on the fence about it. FTA Plus. If you're looking for FTA Plus, and you're looking at an all-access monthly pass, which includes sports betting and DFS. If you use the promo code YouTube on the monthly pass, instead of $29.99, you're going to get a month for $19.99 for the first month. Then it'll obviously go to $29.99 the second month, and so on. If you're looking for a yearly pass, we only have a few coupon codes left for this. If you go here, FTA Plus, you sign up for the yearly pass, and you use the promo code BIRTHDAY, all one word, all capital letters, you will get, instead of a $199 yearly pass, you'll get it for $99 while supplies last. Very limited amount of coupon codes left. So if you guys are interested in that, check it out, and let's rock and roll. So overall on the day, stick around towards the end of this video. We're going to give you the top 20 bats after 10,000 simulations. We're also going to give you 10 out of 10 matchup plays as well. So it's split up into 3 slates, at least on DraftKings. You do have the Fanduel all-day slate, which I don't like to play, but we're going to break it down for each individual slate here. So the first slate, we have a little bit of weather concern for Oakland, Minnesota. 3 games. the next slate 7 games, and then the night slate 5 games. Okay? So, let's rock and roll. Athletics at the Twins, you got Joey Estes versus Bailey Ober. So we got Estes in here, 6,400, 478 ERA. We did use him his last start, did not do well. Or we used him against Seattle because we love to take pitchers against Seattle because they strike out a ton. And if you've been with us before, you know this. He had a good game there, 27.7. Not a good game against San Diego. Middle of the road against Tampa Bay and Colorado. The weather is a concern here. That's definitely something to monitor. Maybe they'll, delay it a little bit. But we see home or away games, he is worse on the road. I wouldn't use Estes, and I wouldn't use Oakland bats. I would be using Bailey Ober for tournaments, splits-wise. I do know that Simeon Wood-Richardson gave up some runs yesterday, which was wild. We look at this. He really hasn't done much either. Tournament-wise, I'm okay with Bailey Ober, but again, he has not been the best pitcher. But he is going up against Oakland. I don't know what's worse, Oakland's offense, owner, or their announcer lady who makes every call worse. Every home run call is the worst home run call I've ever heard. It's wild. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go YouTube what I'm talking about. So we look at this. I would rather just stick with Minnesota bats. Pretty much any of the Minnesota bats that are going to be in there. Correa, Buxton, Kepler, Carlos Santana, Royce Lewis. Cheap option might be Austin Martin if he's in there today. I don't know if he will be. But I am in on a Minnesota stack. I don't want any A's. Well, I guess you could look at some A's because Bailey Ober hasn't been the best. It would be Tyler Soderstrom. It would be Langoliers, who had a home run yesterday. Brent Rooker would be one that I'd look at. And that's basically it. Not a ton that I love here. I'm still giving the advantage. I'm probably fading pitching in this one. I'm still giving an advantage to Minnesota. Not a huge advantage. I don't love this game. The weather will dictate a lot, so kind of monitor the weather throughout the day. Then we got Cardinals at the Cubs. You got Andre Piante versus Shota Imanaga. So Imanaga, very good pitcher. We kind of look at this. He's 10,300, 196 ERA. Splits-wise, home games, he is better at home. Good game against Cincy. Middle of the road against Chicago White Sox. Did not have a good game against Milwaukee. We're looking at 2.5 times value. So again, basically his salary, we need about 25 out of him. I don't know how feasible that is, but he has done it in the past. He obviously has not faced St. Louis this year. So just kind of looking at this game, I would go Amanaga. I would not go Piante. I think that's how you say his name. He did well against... Actually, he's had a couple of good games. 7,800 is going to save you some money. If he can go deep into games, that's the problem. 5-3, 6-3, 1. They're very up and down with the innings pitched. The pitches are also kind of low, too. I mean, I'm assuming... Yeah, he came out of the bullpen. I don't know if he's stretched out enough. I don't know what's going on. So that's the only problem. Tournaments, I'd go with him a little bit. But other than that, I think I'd stick with the bats. The bats that I would look at, Cubs bats, if you think he's not going to have a good game. Suzuki would be my top of my list, along with Morel, Ian Happ, Cody Bellinger, Mike Tauchman. Mike Tauchman only if he's leading off. If he's not, I probably don't like him that much. And you could look at a little bit of Pete Crow Armstrong if he's in there. If you think Amanaga is going to have another trip-up game, I don't know if he will. The batters that hit lefties well, Goldie and Arenado are the top two. Dylan Carlson's another one, would be a cheaper option there. Ivan Herrera would be a cheap catching option. You could look at Burleson or Brendan Donovan. We'll see. Just those are kind of the bats that I would look at. So I have had people say, why do you like these bats? What are you looking for here? So if I went through every single bat and broke it down every single swing and why I like these for every batter, this video would take forever. But we do have so many other resources to show why we like these bats. So description below is the article for today. We have the top bats and pitchers that we like on the slate. Then if you want to break it down even further, under the MLB tab, we've got simulations that you can see why and what they're simulated to do, projections, Vegas odds in there. stolen base targets, BVP, batter splits. You could look at the batter splits. This person hits lefties well with a 500 ISO power, which no one has. Dig in a little bit more. That is what FTA is for. So there's a ton of information there. I just don't have time to go over every single detail for every single batter. So I just want to put that out there. So I would go Amanaga. I would go Cubs bats. You could sprinkle in Cardinals if you are going to fade this. But again, it's a 3-game early slate. It's really hard to find a lot of differentiation through here. Then we got the Guardians at the Blue Jays. Carlos Carrasco versus to be announced day of, which is wild. I'm assuming this was Alek Manoah's spot, but they believe it's going to be Bowden Francis. Comes in with a 7.36 ERA. Home games, he's pitching 9.53 ERA. The problem is he's not going deep into games. He's more of an opener, a candidate to serve as bulk relief. Yeah, I mean, I hate the way this has happened in the past 4 seasons. Thanks to Tampa Bay, there's openers and stuff like that. You're obviously not using Francis. There's not a ton that I love on this slate. And Carlos Carrasco, to be honest with you, 5.50 ERA, splits-wise, away games, he's been a little bit worse at 5.51, has not faced Toronto this year. Hasn't really done much. I am on Cleveland. I could see both of these offenses, but Cleveland's obviously the better offense. We saw that yesterday. I would look at Josh Naylor, absolutely stud and dominating things this year. Same thing with Jose Ramirez. David Fry's another one I would look at. Andres Jimenez, Stephen Kwan, Brian Rochillo. I love a Cleveland stack today. Carrasco hasn't really done a ton. Tournament-wise, I'll throw Carrasco in there because Toronto's offense really hasn't shown up for the most part. But Carrasco having a 5+ ERA scares me a little bit. I would use Vladdy. I would use Davis Schneider. I would use Danny Jansen. I like Danny Jansen more against lefties, but I'll use him if he's in there. George Springer could be another one. You could go very cheap at Addison Barger, who got called up because Dan Vogelbach got DFA'd yesterday, which left a massive hole in this lineup. I would look at these guys. You could go IKF or Spencer Horwitz. I'm okay with, but the guys I named for Toronto, I'm more leaning towards Cleveland though over Toronto. I don't trust Toronto's offense at all at this point until they prove me otherwise. So that's the early slate, or that's the turbo slate. The early slate starts at 3:05. The early slate, it consists of 7 games. So we're going to go over those. Weather concerns looks to be good this afternoon. Early slate at 3:05. We should be good here. Let's dig in. We've got the Angels at the Giants. Patrick Sandoval versus Keaton Winn. Sandoval, 46 plate appearances, 179. Keaton Winn's never faced them before. Keaton Winn, I know his family. We've talked about this, but really got lit up his last game. 7 earned runs in 4.1 innings. Again, that was against Texas. Obviously, Texas is a way better team than the Angels. He hasn't done much this year, though. It's been a minute since April 28th. He had a stretch of 3 games where he did well. Miami, Mets, and Pittsburgh did well there. He is 5,800. At that point, I think you have to make multiple lineups. I think he has to be in at least one of them, being that cheap. But again, the Angels have been able to hit. For sure, they've been able to hit. And then Patrick Sandoval, 5.35 ERA, splits-wise, 6.07 at home, 4.30 on the road. Has not faced Giants here. This is a massive ballpark, obviously. If you want to see ballpark factors and everything like that, in the description is the Discord. Go check that out. But I'm probably fading Sandoval as well. I'm probably looking at the bats on both sides. I don't trust either pitcher enough. In cash, I will look a little bit at Keaton Winn because, again, he's very, very cheap. The Angels bats that I would even consider: Logan O'Hoppe, Taylor Ward, Joe Adell, Willie Calhoun, Nolan Schanuel, maybe Michael Stefanik, maybe. The Giants bats against Sandoval: Elliot Ramos, it would be at the top of my list. Matt Chapman against a lefty would be there. Jorge Soler against a lefty would be there. Cheaper options, you could look at Tyro Estrada or Wilmer Flores. So I'm fading pitching in this one. I will look at bats, and I don't know if I'll have very many bats at all. We'll look at the simulations and throughout the day with anything else, but this is more of a pitcher's park than a hitter's park, but I don't trust the pitchers enough for cash. Philly at Baltimore, we saw maybe a preview of the World Series, people are saying. I don't know. We saw it go to extra innings, and Philly took it. You got Taijuan Walker versus Grayson Rodriguez. Walker, 52 plate appearances, 188. So, a handful of, what is that, about two and a half starts worth, so not a ton. And then Grayson Rodriguez really hasn't seen the Phillies. Both of these offenses are amazing. We know this. I'm probably off of the pitching here. I would look at the bats. It's either going to be a high-scoring game or a very low-scoring game. So we'll see. The bats that I would look at, Schwarber leading off the game yesterday with a home run. Like I said, look Schwarber's career June stats up, and he is better than Babe Ruth. He literally better than Babe Ruth. You've got Schwarber there. You got Bryce Harper. You got Alec Boehm. You got cheaper option would be Bryson Stott or David Dahl for this Philly team. Baltimore, Gunnar Henderson. I would not be surprised if he goes yard. Colton Cowser would be a cheap option. Ryan Mountcastle, Ryan O'Hearn, Adley, and Santander had a home run yesterday. I wouldn't be surprised if he does that again. A cheaper option. Not a ton of people talk about. Like, as loaded as Baltimore is, Santander is a fantastic switch hitting option that's usually overlooked. And if we look at his price, he is $4,900, but he's overlooked and underutilized in DFS, and I love to use him. So yeah, I'm not looking at pitching here. I'm looking at bats on both sides. Marlins at the Nationals. Trevor Rogers versus DJ Hers. Battle of the lefties here. I'm probably not using either of these pitchers. There's a reason they're at the bottom. Trevor Rogers actually had a decent game. He's, it's up and down. At his price, maybe throw him in tournaments, but I'd probably... both of these pitchers could be thrown in for tournaments, but DJ Hers is not going deep into games. Trevor Rogers has been let up. They both have a little bit higher ERA. I'm probably looking at the bats on both sides. I would look at, on the Marlins side, Jake Berger, Brian De La Cruz, Josh Bell, maybe a little bit of Jazz, maybe Jesus Sanchez. Washington side, I'm looking at Lane Thomas. Had a home run yesterday. I'm always looking at him as long as he doesn't get thrown out. I'm looking at Joey Meneses. I'm looking at C.J. Abrams, Luis Garcia Jr., Keibert Ruiz. I don't mind. So I'm fading the pitching in this one. If I have anything, it would be the bats, and I think it would be just contrarian stacks for me today. Tigers at the Astros, you got Jack Flaherty versus Justin Verlander. Flaherty has been a godsend for the Tigers this year. He's 8,900, 3.22 ERA. Faced Houston once this year already. 6.2 innings, 3 earned runs, 7 strikeouts. Ended up losing the game. Obviously not his fault. 18.8 fantasy points, just did not get run support. So I could see this happen in the same thing again. I think he still could have a good game, especially at 8,900 is what we're looking at. And then Verlander's the most expensive on this early slate. He's had a couple of down games against St. Louis. Against the Angels, he gave up 4 earned runs in both of those. The strikeouts were low. Again, he's 65 years old. He's got his AARP card. The Tigers aren't, are we going to see vintage Verlander going up against his former team? He already faced them once this year. 7 innings, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, 32.8. I obviously give the advantage to Verlander, but he has been down a little bit. Offense-wise, I'm not looking at the bats right now. I'm not looking at the bats. I'd rather take pitching in this one. There are just so many other games we can target. Pitching, I think Verlander's cash. I think Flaherty is tournament. And I'm going to fade the bats right now. Padres at the Mets. You got Adam Mazur versus Jose Quintana. So we look at Adam here. 7,700. Splits 1 game on the road, 1 game at home. 3 innings against Arizona because he gave up 8 earned runs. LA, 6 innings there. 1 earned run. It's, exact opposite. Minus 11.9 last time. First time, 11.9. His price has gone down back to 7,700, but This is a pitcher's park. I do not trust him. I cannot trust him. And then Quintana, saw him get lit up in England. 3.2 innings, obviously not enough. He has not gone deep into games there. I would look at bats. I'm going back to San Diego bats, lefties here. And I'm going probably just bats overall. Probably not using either pitcher. Tatis, Machado, Profar, Jackson Merrill, Hassan Kim, Donovan Solano would be a cheap option. I love them for San Diego. The Mets bats against Missouri, Brandon Nimmo, JD Martinez, Starling Marte, Francisco Lindor, Pete Alonso. Those would be the ones that I'd look at. Harrison Bader had the day off yesterday. I don't know if he's going to be in. Maybe a cheap option for outfield there. Francisco Alvarez, I'm okay with there as well. So I'm fading pitching here. I'm just going the bats. Even though it's a pitcher's park, I just do not trust either of these guys. Rays at the Braves. You got Ryan Pepiot versus Charlie Morton. I believe Morton obviously has more success in his career. Pepiot hasn't really done much, hasn't seen much of them. But he is more expensive. 4.17 ERA. Splits-wise, home games, he's way worse on the road. Away games, 1.50 ERA. Now, yesterday, we did stack the Braves, and it worked out. I think they put up 5 in the first and then 2 later on. They did lose Michael Harris. I don't know what to. Let's see, probably a hamstring or something. So he's out. Is he on the IL? Oh, yeah, look at that. I had no clue, and I said hamstring, and it was. So he's going on the IL. So he will be out, which will bump up, obviously, some more value plays here. I'm not looking at Pepiot. I'm not looking at Tampa Bay. I guess Charlie Morton, let's see. Tampa Bay's offense has been so bad this year. It's just wild to see. Splits-wise, not faced Tampa Bay this year. Home games, 367, so he's been better at home. But, again, he gave up 5 runs, 4 of them earned against Washington. A good game against Oakland, bad game against Washington again. A good game against the Cubs, a bad game against the Cubs. He's been so inconsistent at 8,600. Even as bad as Tampa Bay has been, I cannot trust that. I cannot trust that at all. So we look at the offense. Obviously, I'm giving the bump to Atlanta, depending on where you want to go. Marcell Ozuna had another home run yesterday. Matt Olson's another one. Austin Riley had a big game yesterday, I believe. Darno's another one. This is where you're going to save some money. With Harris out, Kelenic makes a fantastic option. Duvall could be playing as a cheap option there. You've got Orlando Arcia could be a cheap option. It really depends on the lineup that comes out. But with Michael Harris being out, it should open up some value in the outfield. It's probably going to go to Adam Duvall, who we like to use more against lefties, but I'm okay with that. And then the way Charlie Morton's been, there's not a ton of Tampa Bay bats that I trust. Yandy Diaz is one. Arozarena is one. Palacios could be one. Isaac Paredes could be one. But I'm probably just going with the Braves bats here. Probably not looking at Tampa Bay. Again, anything can happen. I did forget to mention, depending on when you watch this video, we have MMA content out. So get in on the MMA action. I don't know if you've been playing MMA. I really don't know. The roster locks. It locks actually an hour later than normal. It's 6 p.m. tonight. Usually, so it locks right at when baseball locks. So you got all day to look at that content too. No video, but we do have the cheat sheet out there and the lineups if you want to check it out. So again, I'm more focused on the Braves, but I could see Tampa Bay putting up some runs. I just don't trust Charlie Morton enough, especially at his price. I'm not using him. Then you got the Reds at the Brewers, which is the second to last game on, or is the last game on the slate. Andrew Abbott versus Bryce Wilson. Now, in theory, the Brewers, we know historically this year and last year, hit lefties well. Andrew Abbott's had success against them in the past. Comes in with 3.28 ERA. Has not faced them this year. Pitching on the road does have a 3.20. It's a little bit better, not that much. Coming off a couple of good games here. Tournaments, I'm okay with Abbott. But honestly, I'm probably looking at Milwaukee bats a little bit more. Then you got Bryce Wilson, who I believe got lit up his last start. Yeah, minus 2.3 against Detroit, 7 earned runs. He's given up earned runs in every single start since back to May 6th. I'm probably looking at offenses here. I'm probably not looking at pitching for cash. Abbott for tournaments, I'm okay with, but probably just going to be focused on cash over everything. Or bats over everything. Cincinnati bats against Wilson. Obviously, Ellie De La Cruz, wouldn't be surprised to see him get a couple of stolen bases tonight. Stuart Fairchild, Spencer Steer, Will Benson, Candelario is another one I would look at. The Brewers bats, again, only on FanDuel can you play both, but William Contreras and Gary Sanchez I'm okay with. I would look at Willie Adames. I would look at Rhys Hoskins. He's a cheap option against a lefty. Always got to get my boy Rhys in there. Jackson Chourio could be a cheaper option too. It just depends. But overall, I'm not using Wilson at all. I might use Andrew Abbott, maybe. I don't know. I'd rather just focus on bats in this game. Then we are on to the main slate, the 5-game main slate for tonight. Some great pitching on this slate. We've got Eovaldi versus George Kirby. I love Eovaldi because, again, Seattle loves to strike out. George Kirby has had success against Texas in the past. Eovaldi, though, they're right next to each other. Eovaldi, 2.68 ERA. As long as he can go deep into the game here. 7 innings against San Francisco, 5 strikeouts. I would not be surprised if he gets at least 7 strikeouts. Seattle's just, they're very bad. They're not bad. They do strike out a ton, but they put up runs. That's kind of the caveat there. 8,900, pretty decent price for him. But then George Kirby against Texas has not faced him this year. He's been good his last 3 starts, Kansas City, Oakland, Houston, but Texas is obviously a good team too. I think if we're looking at these, I think Eovaldi is your cash option. I think Kirby would be your tournament option. I'm really not looking at Seattle bats, but I would be looking at some Texas bats. So Adolis Garcia, Corey Seager, Jonah Heim, Nate Lowe, like these are the ones I'd look at. Value options, Taveras you could look at. Grossman, Jankowski might be a sneaky option today. Travis Jankowski could be a sneaky option. He's got to be in there, though, so that's why we got to wait for these lineups to come out. So, Eovaldi, cash or tournament, I don't mind. I think Kirby only tournament has had success his past few games, has had success in his career against Texas. But again, we know when Texas bats are on, they're very, very good. Then you got the Yankees at the Red Sox. You got Carlos Rodon versus Cooper Criswell. Rodon has been amazing this year. He's been the stud behind Luis Gil. The Red Sox have struggled. We saw that last night in the game. I think they lost 8-1 or 9-1. I can't remember. Boston just looks bad. Offensively, defensively, they look terrible. We had a Yankee stack yesterday. It came through for us. Verdugo had tied a career high with 4 RBIs against his old team, which was amazing to watch because he got booed for being a Yankee. He got booed after being on the team. It wasn't his fault he got traded, but they booed him. He went absolutely off. First pitch he saw of the night, dead central, boomstick shot, piss missile, whatever you want to call it. He had not hit a ball like that at all this year. First pitch he saw. He was pumped up. He's got that dog in him. We know this. I'm looking at a full Yankee stack here. I'm going back to the well. I'm not using Criswell. Back to the well. Not using him. I'm using Rodon. I'm using the Yankees bats. Pretty much like I've said, the only Yankee bat that I do not trust at the moment, Anthony Rizzo. I do not trust him, and that's basically it. Love Verdugo. Stanton is it's annoying. I don't know if I'm going to use Stanton, but he's had some big home runs here. But he strikes out. He swings at balls that are 6 feet out, just sweeping sliders, sweeping curves, just anything that goes away to him. No matter if it's in the dirt, no matter if it's at the pitching mount and he spikes it at the pitching mount, he swings at it. I might fade Stanton, but again, he's had great games here and he could absolutely dominate. But I'm going a full Yankee stack. I'm going Carlos Rodon. I want nothing to do with Criswell. I want nothing to do with the Red Sox bats. They could hit well. I want nothing to do with them at all. Then you got the Royals at the Dodgers. This is what's so wild to me. The Dodgers have a $1 billion payroll. We know this, okay? They ended up winning yesterday. I get that. But they should have put up more runs against the lefty. Cole Reagans came in, obviously did not get the win, but was doing very well. Had a 3-run lead through the 4th inning, and then the 5th inning. The 5th inning, he is kind of where he stumbled. Reagans went 7 innings, only gave up 3 earned runs, had a tie game, and then obviously bullpen came in, Kansas City, Will Smith, and gave up a run in the 8th to lose the game. Seth Lugo has been amazing this year. So if you look at Seth Lugo, it's wild that he's 8,100. It's because he's going up against the Dodgers. 2.37 ERA, 9-2 record, 75 strikeouts. Had a couple of bad down games here. Did give up 4 earned runs against the Yankees. 4 strikeouts. I'm probably off of him. Even away games, he's been better. 1.69 ERA. Tournaments, you could look at him, but he's on a, like, I don't know if he's, kind of going back to who he was prior to being amazing this year. I don't know. And then Yamamoto obviously dominated his last start, got some extra rest because he threw 100-plus pitches. I am looking at Yamamoto. I am looking at the Dodgers bats. It's pretty much give me all of the Dodgers. Offense-wise, it does not matter, to be honest. Royals bats, if you think Yamamoto's going to get lit up. Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez had a 3-run home run yesterday. You could look at those two. Pasquantino, Melendez, like Michael Garcia. You could look at them. But personally, I'm probably going Yamamoto and the Dodgers bats if it's even feasible to be able to afford that. I don't even know. It depends on a lot of factors that come in. It depends on the starting lineups that come out. But that's what I'm doing in this game. And then you got the Pirates at the Rockies, Jared Jones versus Ty Block. So I don't normally like to use pitchers in Coors, but I'll give an exception to Jared Jones. I would look at Jared Jones, and again, I would look at the Pirates bats here. So O'Neal Cruz, I don't know why he was out. He was day-to-day yesterday. Let's see. So left ankle soreness. I was all over O'Neal Cruz. He was in all my lineups. I got busy with work, or I got busy doing stuff outside, and then I noticed he was scratched. He was not there, and it was too late for me to update him. So he might be out, but I would still look at Jared Jones, and I would still look at a full Pirates stack. Yasmani Grandal I would look at. Would not be surprised if both Ke'Bryan Hayes and Andrew McCutchen have home runs today. Wouldn't be surprised if McCutchen leads the game off with a home run. I love them here. Another one we like to look at against the lefty, Michael A. Taylor. If you bring in Michael A. Taylor here, 2,900 in Coors is pretty wild. Again, not a huge home run guy. Has not had a huge game for a minute, but he is capable of 10+. He gets to go in Colorado. Did not do anything yesterday. Still 2,900. He's not a standalone play. It would only be if you are full stacking the Pirates today. I would look at him. Henry Davis could be an option you could look at. We do like to use Connor Joe against the lefty. So if you look at Connor Joe here, 4,500. So he is up there. 7 home runs, 28 RBIs. Colorado, not a ton against them this year. Didn't do anything yesterday, but I don't love Ty Block. I love a Pirate stack here, and I love Jared Jones. Jared Jones would be, let's see, what is he? And he's 8,200. He's just above Seth Lugo. I would use him for sure. Then the final game on the slate, we got the White Sox at the Diamondbacks. But before that, we are going to give a keyword out. The keyword of the day is glasses. So glasses is the keyword. Good luck to everybody on the day. So, Eric Fetty versus Scott McGough. Now, Fetty Wap versus... I'm not using Fetty. I'm not using the White Sox. You got McGough here. I don't know anything about this guy. He's an opener, and then it's probably going to go to Tommy Henry as a lefty. You know what? I might... Henry's got a 5.58 ERA. I might be sneaky here. I'm not using either pitcher. I'm using the bats. I'm not using either pitcher at all. Luis Robert Jr. against Tommy Henry, I love. Tommy Pham, if he's in there, I don't know if he will be. Is he back? I think Tommy Pham is back off the IL, right? As of yesterday? Yep. Okay, so Fam didn't do anything yesterday, but again, might be under owned today. People might not know he's back. He would be one I'd look at. Andrew Vaughn would be another one I'd look at. Paul DeYoung against lefty, I don't mind. I think a sneaky stack today or tonight could be the White Sox. We'll see. And then the Diamondbacks against Eric Fetty would be Ketel Marte. I want all the lefties. I want Corbin Carroll. They bumped Corbin Carroll back up to the leadoff spot. At least he was yesterday. I have not followed it prior to yesterday, but went 1 for 4 with a run scored and an RBI at the top. I would look at him. I would look at Ketel Marte. I would look at Jock Peterson. I would look at Christian Walker, who's been on fire lately. You could look at Eugenio Suarez a little bit. Cheap options in this lineup, maybe a Kevin Newsom, Jake McCarthy, or Geraldo Perdomo, depending on who's in there. It might be Blaze Alexander because I don't believe Moreno, Alexander, and there's another one that didn't play last night that I thought would. But those would be the ones that I'd look at. So I love an Arizona stack a little bit more, but I think a sneaky stack today could be the White Sox. And there you have it. There's the breakdown for Saturday. All of the pitchers, all of the bats, everything you need. But now let's check out the top 20 bats after 10,000 simulations. And I haven't even looked at these yet. So these were running in the background. So when I went over some of these batters that I liked versus what is on the screen, if it collates together, I like that. So we've got Andrew McCutchen, number 1. Number 2 is C.J. Abrams. 3 is Jose Ramirez. 4 is Connor Joe. 5 is Christopher Morel. 6, Mike Tauchman. 7, Isaac Paredes. 8, Edward Olivares. 9, Gunnar Henderson. 10, Ryan McMahon. 11, Josh Lowe. 12, Cody Bellinger. 13, Brian Reynolds. 14, Seiya Suzuki. 15, Lane Thomas. It's wild, but 16 is Aaron Judge. 17, Nick Senzel. 18, Jazz Chisholm. 19, Juan Soto. And number 20, Brandon Lau. So we have talked about it, but the simulations love a Pittsburgh stack, love a Cubs stack, and loves a Washington stack as well. And if we look at all the players with a 10-plus matchup, we got a bunch. We got a lot today. More than yesterday. Number 1, Connor Joe. 2, Morel. 3, Mike Tauchman. 4, Isaac Paredes. 5, Edward Olivares. 6, Gunnar Henderson. 7, Cody Bellinger. 8, Suzuki. 9, Lane Thomas. 10, Nick Senzel. 11, Francisco Lindor. 12, Brandon Nimmo. 13, Fernando Tatis Jr. 14, Ian Happ. 15, Michael Busch. 16, Anthony Santander. 17, Colton Cowser. 18, Jesse Winker. 19, Tyler Stevenson. And number 20, Ha-Seong Kim. So we've got 20 players right now that have a 10 out of 10 matchup. We have 20 players that we liked through simulations, and that's what we've got. So if you found this video helpful, if you found it useful, click on the links in the description. Click on the ads. Subscribe if you have not. Go check out the website. Go check out our Twitter. Go check out everything. That's what I've got in this video. Good luck today, and as always, come back tomorrow, bring home some bacon. Peace.